Last spring, my neighbor Margaret knocked on my door holding a bowl of cloudy water. I was about to pour this down the drain, she said, but you're always talking about garden tricks. Is there anything I can do with this? I looked at the milky rice water and smiled. Margaret, that bowl you're holding is worth more than the $50 fertilizer bag you bought last month. She thought I was joking, but 3 weeks later, she called me over to see her garden. The tomatoes that had been stunted and yellow were now twice the size, deep green, and loaded with flowers. I just poured this cloudy water on them, she said, amazed. That's it. Nothing else changed. That cloudy water she almost threw away, it's the most powerful probiotic for dead soil. And today, I'm going to show you 3 ancient liquids that will bring your garden back to life without spending a dime on fertilizer. If you've ever planted seeds with hope, only to watch them disappear into soil that feels more like concrete, this is for you. Welcome to Home Garden Fix, where we share simple, proven methods that save you money and bring your garden back to life. I'm so glad you're here today. Before we dive in, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your soil is fighting against you instead of working with you? Drop a comment and tell me what's happening, because after today, you'll know exactly how to fix it. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now. We share budget-friendly garden solutions every single week, perfect for folks who want results without complicated chemistry or expensive products. Let's start by figuring out if your soil is actually dead. The problem. I know exactly how it feels when soil stops working. 5 years ago, I was standing exactly where you might be right now. I thought the answer was in those heavy blue and pink bags of fertilizer at the garden center. I spent hundreds of dollars chasing NPK numbers. And you know what happened? My soil didn't get better. It got harder. It formed a crust so thick that when I watered, the water just ran off sideways. My plants were starving in the middle of a chemical buffet. That's when I learned the hard truth. You cannot feed a plant if the soil is dead. Here's what most people don't understand. Soil isn't just dirt. It's a living ecosystem. Billions of bacteria, fungi, and tiny creatures working together to break down nutrients and feed your plants. When that workforce dies, you're left with lifeless dust. Today we're fixing that. Not with chemicals, not with expensive gear, but with 3 ancient liquids you can make right in your kitchen. Most videos just give you a recipe and wish you luck. Not today. I'm going to show you how to diagnose your soil, exactly how to make these tonics safely, and yes, we'll talk about the safety concerns. Put your wallet away. Let's start with the diagnosis. Diagnosis. Before we mix up our first liquid, we need to confirm what we're dealing with. You wouldn't take medicine without a diagnosis, right? Same goes for your garden. I want you to try the shovel test. Go outside right now if you can. Put your shovel in the ground and push down. If you have to jump on your shovel to get it 2 inches deep, your soil structure is collapsed. It's dead. Here's the second check, the drainage test. Dig a hole about the size of a large coffee can, maybe 6 inches deep and wide. Fill it with water and let it drain. Then fill it again. If that second round of water sits there for more than an hour, you have a drainage problem. Your roots are going to drown. On the flip side, if it disappears in 10 seconds like a toilet flush, you have sand that holds no nutrients. Finally, the most important one, the life check. Take a shovelful of soil and spread it on a tarp. Count the earthworms. In a healthy shovelful, you should see at least 3 to 5 worms wiggling around. If you see 0 or maybe just 1 lonely skinny worm, that's a red alert. No worms means no bacteria for them to eat, which means your soil is dead. If you failed any of these 3 tests, don't worry. That's exactly what we're about to fix. How many of you just did the shovel test and it bounced right off? Drop a comment and tell me what you found. And if you're finding this helpful so far, give this video a quick like. It really helps us reach more gardeners who need these simple solutions. Liquid 1. Let's start with the easiest, cheapest method, rice wash water. Think of this as a probiotic yogurt shot for your ground. We're cultivating lactic acid bacteria, These guys are the first responders. They break down tough organic matter and suppress disease. Here's the recipe. Take 1 cup of uncooked rice. Any kind works. Add about 2 cups of clean water. Filtered is best to avoid chlorine. Now, swirl it vigorously. You aren't just rinsing dust off. You want to scrub the starch off the grains. You want that water to look like milk. That starch is high-energy food for microbes. Pour it into a clean jar. Cover it with a paper towel and a rubber band. Do not screw the lid on tight. These microbes need to breathe. Now, let's pause for a safety reality check. I know some of you are thinking, wait, modern rice has trace arsenic. Am I poisoning my soil? That's a smart question. Yes, rice can contain trace arsenic, but here's the magic of soil biology. Microbes are filters. When you apply this to the soil, the bacteria and fungi actually bind heavy metals and break down toxins. We aren't pouring poison. We're introducing the workforce that cleans up the mess. It's safe. Let it sit for 2 to 3 days. If it smells slightly sour, like pickles, that's success. If it smells like a rotting garbage can, that's failure. Toss it and start over. Storage tip: put it in the fridge to keep for a week. To apply, dilute 1 part liquid to 10 parts water. Water it right at the base of your plants. Rice wash wakes up the soil, but if your plants are stunted, they need something more. Liquid 2, fermented plant juice. That's where fermented plant juice, or FPJ, comes in. This is like a multivitamin for struggling plants. Harvest about 2 pounds of vigorous weeds, stinging nettle, dandelions, or grass clippings. If it grows fast, it has the growth hormones we want. Chop it up. Mix it with an equal weight of brown sugar. So 2 pounds of plant material equals 2 pounds of sugar. Mix until the leaves look wet. How does this work? Think of it like salting a slice of cucumber. The salt pulls the water out, right? The sugar does the same thing here. It uses osmotic pressure to pull the nutrient-rich sap out of the plant cells without cooking them. Now a warning. I have to tell you about the stinky jar incident. The first time I made this, I screwed the lid on tight and left it in the sun. 3 days later, pop. The lid flew off and it smelled terrible. My wife banned me from the kitchen for a month. So please, pack in a jar, put a rock on top to press it down, cover with a cloth, not a lid, and keep it in a cool, dark corner. After 5 to 7 days, strain the dark syrup. Dilute it 1 to 20 with water. I used this on my struggling tomatoes last year. They were yellow and drooping. In 5 days, the leaves turned forest green and stood straight up. It works. Note, even when done right, this has a strong smell. Don't store it next to your neighbor's patio window. Quick question. Which of these 3 liquids are you most excited to try? Drop a number in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that button so you don't miss next week's video on turning kitchen scraps into free fertilizer. Liquid 3. If rice wash is a probiotic shot and FPJ is a multivitamin, compost tea is the entire army. This floods your soil with thousands of species to rebuild the ecosystem. Here's the recipe. Start with a 5-gallon bucket of water. Dechlorinated, please. Take 2 pounds of finished compost. Warning, only use fully cured compost. Never use raw manure. We don't want E. coli. Put the compost in an old pillowcase and suspend it in the water. Add 1 tablespoon of molasses. Now the secret weapon, oxygen. Drop in an aquarium air stone and turn on the pump. Why? Because the good bacteria are aerobic. They need air. If you let it sit still, you breed swamp bacteria that cause root rot. Let it bubble for 24 hours until it has a frothy head of foam on top, like a good draft beer. Pro tip for my back pain warriors. If a 5-gallon bucket is too heavy to carry, just scale this down to a 1-gallon milk jug. Your plants won't know the difference, but your spine will thank you. Use it immediately within 4 hours. Drench the soil or spray the leaves. The microbes are alive right now. Don't let them die in storage. Liquid 3. If rice wash is a probiotic shot and FPJ is a multivitamin, compost tea is the entire army. This floods your soil with thousands of species to rebuild the ecosystem. Here's the recipe. Start with a 5-gallon bucket of water. Dechlorinated, please. Take 2 pounds of finished compost. Warning: only use fully cured compost. Never use raw manure. We don't want E. coli. Put the compost in an old pillowcase and suspend it in the water. Add 1 tablespoon of molasses. Now, the secret weapon: oxygen. Drop in an aquarium air stone and turn on the pump. Why? Because the good bacteria are aerobic. They need air. If you let it sit still, you breed swamp bacteria that cause root rot. Let it bubble for 24 hours until it has a frothy head of foam on top, like a good draft beer. Pro tip for my back pain warriors: if a 5-gallon bucket is too heavy to carry, just scale this down to a 1-gallon milk jug. Your plants won't know the difference, but your spine will thank you. Use it immediately within 4 hours. Drench the soil or spray the leaves. The microbes are alive right now. Don't let them die in storage. The game plan. You have the 3 cures. Here's your masterclass game plan for bringing dead soil back to life. Early spring. Wake up the soil with rice wash water, then follow with a drench of compost tea. Summer. Feed hungry plants with FBJ spray every 2 weeks during the growing season. Fall. One last compost tea drench to help break down mulch and prepare for winter. Why does this work? Because microbes produce a natural glue called glomalin. This binds dust particles into crumbs, turning your soil into a sponge that holds water and nutrients. The result? You water less, you fertilize less, and you stop buying those $50 fertilizer bags that don't actually fix the problem. Your soil becomes a self-sustaining system that feeds your plants naturally, the way nature intended. Closing. There you have it, friends. 3 ancient liquids that will bring your dead soil back to life. Rice wash water, fermented plant juice, and compost tea. Start small. Do the shovel test today. Pick one of these liquids and try it this weekend. You don't need to fight your soil anymore. You just need to feed the invisible workforce beneath your feet. What's your biggest soil challenge right now? Drop a comment below and tell me what's going on. Your questions help me create better videos for this community. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and share this with a friend who's struggling with their garden. And subscribe to Home Garden Fix for more simple, proven methods every single week. Next week, I'm showing you how to turn kitchen scraps into powerful fertilizer without a compost bin. You won't want to miss that. Thanks for spending time with me today. Now go grab that rice water before you pour it down the drain. Until next time, keep growing, and remember that every garden problem has a simple fix. This is Home Garden Fix. Happy gardening, friends.